Up everybody, it's Johnny P, the painting coach. I hope you're well. It's chucking it down with rain in Sheffield, UK. There's a bit of a dull and windy and wet day. And again, this is one of the times where I sat in my car and my thinking mind was kicking in saying, oh, give it a rest, John. Have a day off. Quite an interesting conversation this morning with my thinking mind. But again, learning to watch what that thinking mind's saying and detaching from it, unhooking from it, and then making a move forward. So I got out there and did a little bit of training this morning. Not a lot because it was a bit cold. But again, these conversations that we have with our internal minds, quite interesting. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to talk about that today. I talk a lot about the Watcher, and I'll carry on talking about the Watcher and the thinking mind. But had some great conversations this week. I was doing a lot of training around some amazing people, really empowered people. And I got onto the subject of association. And this is quite interesting, and it's a law that I want to talk about. Again, it's always in play. You know, I'm quite big on my universal laws. And this law is called the law of association. And it's a very powerful law again. And it's what you're associated with. But more importantly, who you're associated with. And I started to talk about something which I follow around the law of association. And I split it into 3 bits. There is maybe a challenge, and again, something to consider around association, that at some point you might have to, what I call, disassociate yourself from maybe people around you or the things around you. And the way I think about this is association is going to influence you, and it influences you in a very subtle way. So the people that we have around us, the people that we associate with, will always influence us. They'll always get us thinking a certain way. They'll always get us acting a certain way. And they'll always sometimes get us speaking in a certain way. But a lot of the time, it's very gradual in its approach. So this is the watch out on an association level, is its influence is very tiny, but over time it can lead to quite big things. So when I talk about association, there might be a time, if you stop and think, that it's actually a time to disassociate myself with certain individuals. So when I was younger, I got into a bad group of people, that my associates. I was young, I wanted to be liked. I was more bothered about what people think of me. And these individuals that I associated myself with took me down some paths that probably weren't empowering, probably weren't good for me, probably wasn't good for my body, and certainly wasn't good for my mind. And I got stuck there with these associates doing certain things. And a day came where I actually had a look at myself, what I call turn the mirror on myself, and it was time to change my environment. So over time, I disassociated myself with these individuals. They weren't my friends. We use this word friends quite openly now, but actually they were associates. And over time, I started to realize that I wanted to disassociate myself from these people because they just weren't doing any good for me. So that's one thing on association. You can disassociate. Now, the question is what happens if you can't disassociate fully with the people around you? So my next part on this law, and the one I considered, was limited association. There might be people around you where you limit your association with them. You don't get as involved as you should do. You can step back. And again, these people might not be empowering you, and they might get you thinking and acting and speaking in certain ways that actually you have the opportunity to actually limit your association with these people. And again, the way I do this, I sit down and I think about, okay, who's around me? What have they actually got me thinking, doing and saying? Is that empowering? And if not, I start to work a plan in my mind to maybe limit the association or disassociate from these individuals. And I don't do it sometimes straight away. I gradually do it. You know, I'll stop the phone calls. I'll stop the meetings. I'll stop the conversations, those kind of things, because it's empowering me, because these individuals are influencing me in a certain way. So we have disassociation, we have limited association. And the last one, and this is the real powerful one, is advanced association. Who do you want to be around more? when it comes to your empowerment, doing you good. And start to think about these people or think about these things that you want to be more associated with, what I call advanced association or enhanced association. And being around these people and having these voices that are influencing you in a certain way. Now, sometimes you might not be able to meet these individuals one-on-one. So one thing I do every morning around association, I always play a motivational video. I go onto YouTube and it's part of a pattern that I have in the morning, especially when I'm in the car or in the shower. I'll put a positive motivational YouTube video on and I'll listen to these voices, because these voices I get associated with. They're powerful voices. They empower me. And again, this is about the empowerment of you living by the values that you want to live by. But these voices that I associate myself with are really powerful. And they also set me up for the day. They get me positioned ready for the day. They get me thinking about things, how I'm acting, how I'm behaving, what my plans are. So associations, yeah, you can have one-to-one associations. Absolutely. You meet these people, you go to seminars, etc. You really get involved. You can read the books, you can do the audio books, but also you've got the association where you can go onto YouTube and listen to these videos. Like I said, go onto an audio book and listen to these voices, or read them in a book and associate yourself with these powerful people. But again, thinking about what have they got you thinking about, what have they got you saying, and what have they got you acting. Is that firmly in your beliefs? Is that firmly in your values? Is the person that you want to be? Because remember, the power of influence is very subtle, and a lot of people believe in certain things, and after a time you can start to believe in those things. But really consider, is that the person that you want to be? So there you go, the law of association, very powerful, always in effect. So we have the law of disassociation. Sometimes it is time to say goodbye to these things that are around us. These could be people or things. We have limited, so if the situation dictates that you can't just drop things and move away from them fully, you could limit your association. And then the important one is enhanced association. What is it you want to be around more? What are the voices in that you want to listen to? What are the things that you want to be around more? Is there a club or a committee that really empowers you, and they're talking and speaking the same language as you and really empowering you? So very, very powerful law in effect. And it's in effect all the time, but very subtle in its approach, because sometimes we just don't see it when we don't feel it. And before we know it, we arrive at a place that maybe we didn't want to be. So think about, if you were carried on with this association, where are you going to be in the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, if you carried on that association? So another thing, think about, my association with sweet food is I'm trying to limit it all the time. So when we think about association, we go automatically to people, but I associate my things around things as well. So sweet food, chocolate, those kind of things, junk food that's not good for me, I'm limiting my association with that all the time. So again, sometimes be thinking association, it might be around items, doesn't always have to be around people. But anyway, look, I hope that helps in some way. Step by step we get ahead, guys. Please remember the little steps. Just look forward, keep progressing. Doesn't matter how small the little step is, it's your step as well. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Learn from other people, of course. Build role models, but you don't have to be that person. You're just, again, it's you on you. So improving yourself little bits by little bits. Sometimes we get the step back, of course, we brush ourselves down and we move forward again, and we work the plan out in our head, and we just keep moving forward step by step, progressing towards something, even if it's that something is the person that you want to be, the person that you value is really important. So keep moving forward, please. I know sometimes it's hard. I look out the window now and it's chucking it down with rain and the wind's coming down sideways, and I'm sitting in my car thinking, my thinking mind's go and get a coffee, John. Go back, go to your warm house. It's cold outside. You've done enough this week. But I take the little step. I open the car door and I go and train for a little bit, even if it's just a little bit, because that's empowering me and that's the person that I want to be. And that's, I think, the key important thing. It's the person that you want to be is really important. Anyway, look, have an amazing week, and when something comes on my mind, might be another law that I'll be thinking about, these universal laws, I'll drop a quick video. But have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon. Keep moving forward. Take care.